Hello. Charles Blondin's name was synonymous with tightrope walking in the mid-1800s. Numerous times he crossed the Niagara Falls performing various showmanship antics, including walking on stilts, walking blindfolded or with a sack over his head, carrying his manager on his back. As the story goes, after he emptied the wheelbarrow from the rocks, he hushed the crowd and asks them, "Do you think I can push the wheelbarrow across the tightrope with a person in it?" And they all, with rousing approval, said, "Of course you can. You're the great Blondin. You can do anything." So then he quiets the crowd down and asks them this question: "Who will get into my wheelbarrow?" The crowd was silent. What a powerful illustration of the difference between belief and trust. To a person, the crowd was certain Charles Blondin could walk across the falls on his tightrope, pushing a wheelbarrow without falling. They believed he could do what he said, but when asked to place their trust in what they believed, they all took a step back and they remained on solid ground. It's the difference of what our head acknowledges as true and what our hearts accept as truth. We see the reasonableness of the issue and believe it to be so, but our hearts won't allow our feet to take that step of trust out over scary heights. It's reported that over 85% of people in the country believe in God, the creator of heaven and earth. With their heads, they acknowledge a grand designer created everything that we see, and that the creator has brought order to the universe, our solar system, and to the earth, placing them all in perfect orbits, as well as bringing this planet into a wonderful balance that sustains life. The Lord states that it is inexcusable to not recognize the intricate design that the Creator has made, as it states in Romans chapter 1:20. Statistics indicate the majority of people believe this premise of the origins of our existence through a divine being. The complexity comes, however, when our heads are not willing to tell our hearts to step out in faith and to live out what we believe, to take that step to move from believing to trusting. Will the rope hold us as we put our full weight upon it? Is our trust challenged in the face of the impossible, or at least the improbable? We confront it in the fear of our heights, in doctor's diagnosis, in the overwhelming conditions of our aging bodies, or even during this time in which we find ourselves today. The man's son was experiencing seizures, and he brought him to Jesus for healing. And Jesus' response to the man's plea was by stating everything is possible for him who believes, in Mark 9:23. The man replies, "I do believe. Help me to overcome my unbelief." The man's heart desperately needed to trust what his head believed. He had heard, perhaps he'd even seen Jesus heal others. He wanted that healing for his beloved son. And Jesus challenges him, and as well challenges us, to go to that deeper level of faith, one in which we trust the rope that Christ has extended to us through the cross. He says the wheelbarrow of grace will provide safe passage. So get in. My concern is that the majority of the population who acknowledges a belief in God hasn't been able to take their faith to that deeper place that Christ desires of them. It's a mental assent, but not a heart's plunge. Believing God can do all things, but refusing to get into the wheelbarrow. It's only by getting into that wheelbarrow does a person experience the whole truth, the peace, and where hope truly resides. Take that step of faith in God. trust that He will hold you up, even over all of your life's Niagara Falls.